Okay, so it is no secret that I play on center builds quite a lot, and I make quite a few centers each year. And this year I wanted to make a video on 3 of the best center builds that I have personally found, and that includes my 7'4" that can dribble, can shoot, can dunk, can basically do it all. And we also have a couple of 7-foot that are both still very good in their own right and have better perks elsewhere. Now the only build that I do not have in this video is going to be an inside center. I personally don't use inside centers, so if you're looking for an inside center, unfortunately this is not the video for you. But if you're looking for builds that can shoot, that can basically do everything, this is the video for you. So heading over into the first build, I am going to be doing my 7'4". Now I do already have a video on the channel of me showing off this build a little bit with gameplay as well as showing you guys how to build it. Now of course we're going to go up to 7'4". If you don't know, 7'4s are absolutely broken right now. You can basically shoot over the entire team without getting contested, so if you want to have fun doing that, this is definitely the build for you. Then we're going to drop the weight down to 244. This way we're still going to be super quick and we're going to be able to move, and on this build you're going to be able to dribble as well, which is great. And then for the wingspan, we're going minimum wingspan so we can get the best shooting possible. So we'll start off with the physicals, and we're going to max out the speed and agility. We want to be as quick as possible, and we are on the tallest build in the game, so we're not going to turn extremely quick on defense, but you're still going to be able to play great defense. You just got to kind of predict what they're going to do and you'll be able to get there in time. If not, you might still be able to get there, but it's going to be a little bit of a struggle to learn the timing when you first start playing on this build. After you've played quite a bit, you'll start learning it, and it's actually really easy. Then for the strength, we're not going too high on the strength. We're only going up to an 83. This way, we're basically going to unlock the ability to use, I think it's silver brick wall. Yeah, so we get silver brick wall, and then we can max +1 or max +2 it to gold or Hall of Fame. With this build, there's a lot of stuff you can do with cap breakers and max +1s and max +2s, so that's why we've gone with 83 instead of going all the way up. Then for the vertical, we're going to go max it out at a 70. This is going to allow us to not only get contact dunks, but it's also great for getting rebounds and stuff like that. Speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our defensive rebound on a 91. Now you can drop this down if you have more cap breakers, but we're going to be using 1 cap breaker for this build, just how I'm building it, basically the same way that I built it at the start. Of course, you can upgrade this build, use more cap breakers if you have them at your disposal, but if you only have 1 cap breaker, this is going to be great for you because you're only going to use 1. Then for the offensive rebound, we're going to put that up to an 80. That's just going to allow us to grab offensive boards, and once we put our +1 cap breaker onto defensive rebound, we're going to get gold rebound chaser. And then once again, you can max +1 or max +2 it to Hall of Fame or legend. I personally only max +1 mine to Hall of Fame, and I get enough rebounds as it is. You're 7'4", you have good positioning, you're going to get the board every time. Now for the defense, we only have an 82 interior, but that's fine because you're 7'4", you should be able to get contests in the paint pretty easily, especially if you have good positioning once again. Then for perimeter defense, we're going to have a 59 perimeter defense. You don't really need it. It's just kind of helpful to have just in case you can't really jump and you can only play hands up defense. It's just a nice little thing to have. You don't necessarily need it, but like I say, it's nice to have. Then for the steal, I've gone with a 53 steal. This way you can still grab some lane steals. You're not going to get it every single time because you don't actually have the badge, but it's the most that you can get on a 7'4", so why not have it? And then last but not least, for the block, we're going to have an 80 for block. This is going to give us, we're going to get silver paint patroller, which is great. It's more than good enough, and you can upgrade it at a later stage when you get your max +1 and max +2 from your specialization. And of course, we have bronze pipeline denier from that. Unfortunately, we can't get silver on this build just purely because we don't have the vertical, but once again, we're going to be using a max +2 to get this to gold. Now this is where the build might change for you personally, but for me, this is how I like to run my build. Now for the pass accuracy, I wanted to have a super high pass ac just because I know that this build is going to be played in rec quite a bit. So I went with an 87 pass ac. This gives you gold break starter, gold visionary, and also bronze bailout. These are 3 great badges to have. You also get gold dimer as well. So basically, if for whatever reason you end up taking a bad shot, which honestly there isn't a bad shot you can take on this build because you literally can't get contested, but say you take a bad shot or you don't want to shoot, you're still going to be able to pass out of it. You're going to be able to throw full court passes, you're going to be able to throw alley-oops and stuff like that and pass in between defenders. And also when you do get that pass and you make the pass, you're going to have gold diamond, so your teammates should be able to hit their shots pretty easily. So the passing on this build is absolutely elite. And say you want to learn the dribble moves, like if you watch my how to dribble on a 7'4" video and you want to learn the dribble moves there, you can actually run point guard on this build, which is crazy. And of course, if you want to run the ball, you're going to need some ball handles, so we're going to max it out at a 65. This gives you pretty much every good dribble move for big men. And to pair with that ball handle, we're going to go with a 40 speed with ball. There's no benefit to going 41. So we just go with 40 so we can use the rest of the attributes elsewhere. But with a 40 speed with ball and a 65 ball handle, you get all the good dribble moves and the good dribble style with 40 speed with ball. So this is all you need for playmaking, and like I say, I do have a video teaching you how to dribble on a center, so if you do end up making this build, feel free to check that video out and you'll learn how to dribble as well. Now onto the shooting. We have elite level shooting. We have an 89 3-pointer and an 85 mid-range. Now the reason I've gone so high on the 3-pointer is because we're basically gonna max +2 our set shot to legend, because then we're gonna have the most broken build on the game with the highest level shooting on the game. So you can't get contested, and even if you do, you're going to have legend set shot. You're going to be able to shoot over them anyway. That's what separates this build from anyone else. Yes, having the ability to dribble on a 7-4 is very, very cool, but the fact that you can shoot over everyone because you have legend set shot, that's what changes this build completely. And then just because we have some extra attributes left over, we went ahead and we upped our free throw to 74. Since we're going to be playing rec on this build as well, then I wanted a little bit more free throws so I can actually make my free throws. And you might be thinking, oh wow, that's cool. How's the finishing going to look? Because it doesn't look great right now. Well, as you can see, we still have 4 overalls worth of attributes left. So let's go ahead and we're going to put our close shot up to an 85. Then our driving layup is going to stay at a 60, and our driving dunk is going to stay at a 55. But trust me, we're going to be able to fix that with a couple of cap breakers. For our standing dunk, we're going to go with a 90. This way we still get gold rise up and can get those standing dunk contacts, and it's just great, especially if someone's playing super high on you because of the shooting, because of the level of the shooting on this build. You're then going to be able to cut to the basket and get easy standing dunks every single time as well. It's actually so versatile, and I can't believe that I managed to actually cook this well. And then last but not least, we're going to put the rest of our attributes onto post control so we can still have some post moves. If you want to use the new go-to post shots, if you want to just use post shots in general, this can also use that as well, and it also gives you bronze unpluckable, which is crazy. So here is my essentially my ISO 7-4 that can shoot, can dribble, can pass, can play defense, can rebound, can set screens, and can finish at the rim. It can do it all, man. I also wanted to show you guys the cap breaker screen on each of these builds so you can see what kind of cap breakers you could use, what you can change to maybe get better on your build, whatever you want to do. What I'll say is I shouldn't have used 2 cap breakers on my mid-range. I was trying something different. I thought I could get a takeover. I couldn't get the takeover, so I basically wasted 2. But just imagine these 2 cap breakers are on my driving dunk. As you can see, your driving dunk starts us at a 55 on this build, but you can get it up to a 70 with 3 cap breakers. Because of the brand new cap breaker system where lower stats give you more per cap breaker, it allows for you to do stupid stuff like this, where you can get from a 55 to a 70. And even with a 61, I'm still getting consistent driving dunks and even some contact dunks. But also, as you can see, I've used my +1 cap breaker onto defensive rebound for this build as well. So I get my gold rebound, which then I can +1. And if you're like me and you end up using the defensive specialization, then you're going to have a couple of cap breakers for your defense as well. So if you want to up your interior defense a little bit, and then over time, as you get more and more cap breakers, you can just keep upgrading it and get it maxed out. And then you end up with an 87, which is more than enough, more than what you need this year. As well as if you wanted to go crazy and get a 92 pass, you can do that as well. It's just free reign. I just kind of wanted to show you what the cap breakers look like before you guys make the build, just in case you guys haven't unlocked your first cap breaker yet, so you have an idea of what you can use it on. Okay, so for build number 2, we're going to be using a 7-foot 253-pound 7-foot wingspan for our build. Now the great thing about these 7-foot builds is you can actually get deep bomber. So let's start off with the physicals. We're going to go down. We're going to max out our speed at a 68. We're going to max out our agility at a 55. Again, with centers, you kind of want to be as quick as possible, so you kind of want to max it out if you can. Then for the strength, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put it up to an 84. And we're going to put our vertical all the way up to an 80. This is going to allow us to grab a bunch of boards, get some contact dunks and stuff like that. Then for the defensive rebound, we're going to go with a 92. Like I say, you can drop this down if you have a couple of cap breakers. Like all these builds, you can basically drop stuff down, add your cap breakers in and put your attributes elsewhere if you want to. The rest of the builds in this video I haven't got with cap breakers in mind. I've just basically made the build just in case you want to build that you can essentially just start the game on if you don't have any cap breakers and stuff like that. For our offensive rebound, we're going to go with a 75. It's a little bit low, but we already have a high defensive rebound. We don't need a super high offensive rebound. Then this build has way more defense, so we're going to go with an 88 interior defense. We're then going to get a 62 perimeter defense, defense is going to give us immovable enforcer on bronze, which is quite nice. Then for steel, we're going to have a 60 steel so we can get interceptor. For our block, we're going to get an 84 block so we still get paint patroller on silver, and we actually get high flying denier on silver as well. Onto the passing and stuff, we're going to have a 76 pass act, so much less passing on this build, but we kind of took away the passing so that we could add more defense, add stuff elsewhere. For our ball handle, we're going to have a 48 ball handle and an 40 speed with ball. I kind of just dropped the ball handle in case you guys don't want to dribble on a center. Not many people do want to dribble on their centers, so if you just want a center that can pop, can roll to the paint and all that sort of stuff, this is kind of the build you want. I put the 40 speed with ball so that if you do get the ball, you can still run and you get the good dribble style, so you won't be as slow. But onto the shooting, this is where this build becomes absolutely elite. We're going to have a 93 mid-range, which is just crazy. It gives you Hall of Fame set shots. You only need to +1 it to legend, so you're still going to get that legend shooting. You also get gold deadeye with that as well, but we're also going to max out our 3-point at a 90. This is going to allow us to get the deep bomber takeover. As you can see right here, you need a 93 point to get the deep bomber takeover. If you don't know what that is, it basically means you can shoot from half court, and it's like shooting at the 3-point line. So that is something very, very cool. It allows you to take super deep shots, and especially in those games where it might be a little bit close, and if you can drag out the center, then you're going to have an easy drive for your point guard to go into the paint. So it's pretty cool to have, and it's quite unique that we have it this year. We're also going to chuck on a 78 free throw. The reason we're doing this again is if you want to bring it into the rec, you're going to be able to shoot your free throws pretty consistently with 78. Then onto the finishing, we have an 88 close shot. This is great. Close shots are really good this year. I do like them a lot. The standing dunks are a little bit buggy sometimes. They don't always trigger, so having a nice close shot is always helpful. Now the driving layup only goes up to a 65, but we're not planning on doing too many layups on this build anyway, so if you want more layup, you can just use cap breakers on it. And for your driving dunk, we do get bronze posterizer by putting up to a 73, so that's exactly what we're going to do. But basically maximizing the badges for the minimum amount of attributes. Then for the standing dunk, it's not as overpowered, it's not as super good as the 90, but we still get an 81, which gives us contact dunks and silver rise up, so we'll go with an 81 standing dunk. And then for the post control, you're going to put the last 2 attributes onto that, and you can still do hook shots. So not as much finishing dunking wise. You do get a little bit more driving dunk, you get less standing dunk, and you don't really have post control, but you do get this elite level shooting still. You can still pass the ball pretty well, and you get a bit better defense, but you are very, very quick compared to the 7'4". This is another build that you guys can use if you don't really like the super slow 7'4s. This build comes out as a 2-way stretch 5 cleaner, and the only weakness is the post game is almost non-existent, but we do still get post hooks and stuff on silver, so it's not that bad. And over in the cap breaker screen here, you can see every single cap breaker, what it does and how you can upgrade your build. If you wanted to get the better dribble style, you could upgrade your speed with ball twice. You could upgrade your ball handle if you still want to dribble on this build. And like I say, if you do want drive and layup, you can upgrade that pretty well with only 5 cap breakers. Okay, so for the third and final build of the video, instead of being 253 and 7 foot this time, it'll be 237 and 7 foot. With a 7-foot wingspan as well. There's another 7-foot build, but trust me, it's going to be really, really nice. Now this build is kind of made more for park if you want to play park, or it can still be used in rec. It's just not got the craziest rebounding, so if you are trying to play rec, I'd recommend the other 2 builds over this one. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put our speed at a 72, max it out, and we're going to put our agility at a 60. Then for the strength, we're going to put it all the way up to a 91 this time. So this time you're going to be able to basically set extremely good screens, and especially if you're playing park, this is like important, because if your point guard has a lockdown on him, then you're going to want to be able to screen them pretty well. And again, you can +2 this to legend if you really want to, but I think gold's good enough. Then for the vertical, we're going to go with an 80 vertical. This is going to allow you to grab boards really well, especially in park. This is going to help you a lot with grabbing your rebounds, and also gold pogo stick, it's nice to have. Now for your rebounding, you're only going to have an 85 rebound, and then for your offensive rebound, you're going to have a 75. So not the craziest rebounds in the game, but you're still going to be able to max plus 2 it to Hall of Fame if you want to, max plus 1 it to gold if you want to, and you're still going to be able to get a bunch of rebounds this way, especially in park. Not many people are running tall centers this year, and if they are, they don't have the highest rebounding, so it's definitely still viable. For the interior defense, we're only going to go with an 82, and then for the perimeter defense, we're going to go with a 62 again for that immovable enforcer. Then for the steal, we're going to go with a 60 so that we can get the bronze interceptor once again. For the block, we're going to go with an 84. Now this is kind of like the ideal defense, I think, for minimizing the attributes used and maximizing the badges that you get. For centers anyway, this is probably the best that you can do. Then for the pass accuracy, because this is made for park, we're only going to go with a 76. You still get silver passing badges. Fortunately, no bailout, but we don't really need that. Now also being able to dribble in the park is quite important in my opinion, so we're going to go with that 65 ball handle and that 40 speed with ball, so you still get the good animations without using too many attributes in your playmaking. Now this is where the shooting differs a little bit. We're going to still be having a 93 mid-range. That way we're still going to get the Hall of Fame set shot. Could be legend if you max plus 1 it, but our 3-point, instead of being a 90, we're going to put it up to an 83, so we still get that limitless range. And honestly, you can drop this more if you don't care about the limitless range. I just personally like to have limitless range on most of my builds, but if you don't want that limitless range, you can drop it and you can put your attributes elsewhere. Then we're only going to have a 73 throw just because we had an extra attribute left over. For our close shot, we're going to leave it on an 88. That's more than enough. You don't really need more than that for park. For driving layup, you only need a 63 because we're not planning on doing many layups. Then the driving dunk is a 73 once again to get that bronze posterizer. For your standing dunk, you're going to go with an 81. You still get the silver rise up, and honestly that's more than enough. If you're going to be doing cuts to the basket, you should be pretty open. And last but not least, we're going to give this build some post control just in case you do get caught out and you need to do a post shot. Having 87 post control is crazy. It gives you silver unpluckable, so you're not going to get ripped by lockdowns and stuff. And yeah, that is the completed build. Extremely good build for park in my opinion. Gives you the ability to shoot, you can score inside, and you can play good defense. And as you can see at the bottom right, there's no big weaknesses to report. And once again, here is the cap breaker screen. If there's anything you want to upgrade, like your driving layout for example, then this is how you're going to upgrade it. So hopefully you boys did enjoy the video, or you found a build that works for you that you're going to make and you're going to go have some fun on. As always, if you are new, leave a like, subscribe, and turn the notifications on. It helps me out massively. And also, we're still recruiting for my crew. As you can see, we currently have 14 out of 50 members. If you want to come and join and help us hit level 30, we now know that the crew rewards do not reset. So once we hit level 30, we're going to have every reward possible for the rest of the game. So hopefully, with the help from you guys, we can go from level 12 all the way up to level 30. But yeah, I appreciate you taking time to watch the video, and I'll catch you boys in the next one.